What's going on, YouTube? Before I get started, on the actual video, the topic matter at hand, I want to shout out a couple more people. And see, this is the reason why I don't really like shouting out people, because I always forget somebody. And then people start feeling offended, or they feel that I don't care about them, they feel that down stuff. That's why I don't like doing that much, and all that garbage, but, sometimes you just gotta, shout some people out. You gotta, give some appreciation, and, 95% of my videos, I'm not coming in with a script. You know what I mean? 95% of my videos, I get on camera and I just talk, off the top of my head. Sometimes I'll have a sheet of paper I'm holding where I have, some notes listed down, whatever. But for the most part, I'm pretty much going off the top of my head. But shout out to my cousin, Mr. Just Jokes. Link down below in the description, of course. This is my actual cousin, my actual blood cousin. Okay, so I know this is probably void words, but guys, please don't go on that channel, acting a fool. Or because, he's related to me. You have no life if you do that. Oh, I don't like Shokio, so I'm gonna go over and, troll his cousin. Like that is some low life, just like no life shit right there. You see what I'm saying? Don't pull that shit, but basically he's a entertainment and music channel, and if you guys have watched Man vs. Wild with Bear Grylls, that's like our favorite show. Me and him, he does like Man vs. Wild skits, and that shit is actually pretty damn funny. So go check him out. He's been trying to get me to shout him out for like over a year now, and I've been a terrible cousin because I kept forgetting. But here's a shout out, man. So guys, please go sub to him. This is my blood cousin, so I'd appreciate it if you guys, go sub to him. Also shout out to thuggeek.com. I did a podcast with those guys before, and there's some cool cats over there at thuggeek.com. So definitely go check them out, and I'm also going to leave a link to their YouTube channel in the description. Also, shout out to Dr. Trey81. Shout out to Game Reviews, Deontay. There's so many damn people like I miss that be up in those Skype calls, and you guys know who you are. Shout out to y'all. I can't name everybody because there's always so many damn people in there. I'm sorry if I missed you, but hey, that's why I don't do shoutouts. Okay, sorry about that. Now that all that's over with. My bad. Let's get to the topic matter at hand. Will 1080p be standard next generation? The way I see it, no. And somebody messaged me on N4G. Apparently, he was subscribed to me because he knew who I was and whatnot. He pinned me and we were talking about this, and he pretty much the inspiration behind this video, and it's an interesting thing to discuss. Shouldn't be a long video too because it's kind of simple. I don't think 1080p is going to be standard next generation. Now, that's not to say that it'll be a rare thing. I think it will be common to see native 1080p games, but it won't necessarily be the standard. I really don't think we're going to see the majority of games running in a native 1080p resolution. We've had all these, we keep on having these articles coming out talking about, Assassin's Creed 3 on the Wii U runs in native 1080p, 60 frames per second, stuff like that. That at this point, that's pretty much irrelevant because we could go ahead and assume that all three next generation consoles are going to be able to run native 1080p resolution because we already have at least, a couple of, games on the 360 and PS3, a few that already run in native 1080p. Now, it's a few, but, we're going to get, like a 4 to 8, leap with the next generation console. So, of course, they're going to be able to run native 1080p. But the reason why I'm saying that it's not going to be standard is because, companies like Crytek, Epic, companies that are known for, their amazing engines, DICE, those companies that like to push, pixels, and textures, things of that nature. When you try to do that, it's harder to have a native HD resolution. I know this is like common sense for a lot of you, but a lot of people don't necessarily understand how this stuff works out because a lot of people are expecting native 1080p for all games next gen, and that's just unrealistic thinking in my opinion, because like I said because the hardware is fully capable of doing native 1080p, but because they're capable of doing that doesn't mean that developers are necessarily going to aim for that. Because like I said, when you try to push bigger environments, you see what I'm saying? Better AI, better physics, better anti-aliasing, better textures. When you're focusing on that, which I'm sure will be a huge focus for a lot of the, big third-party developers and, developers like Naughty Dog next generation, when you're trying to push for things like that, it is harder to have a native HD resolution. And of course with, side scrollers, indie games, downloadables, those games for the most part, yeah, I definitely see them running in native 1080p 60 frames per second, no problem. But for, games like, FPSs, third person shooters, adventure games, action games, I'm definitely expecting, a 720p 60 frames per second with some good ass AA, on those games, because, those games are more, graphically intensive and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? So, so like I said, whether or not this game or that game will be running in 1080p, that's pretty much irrelevant, because we go ahead and assume that all three next generation consoles are capable, of running native 1080p games. I just don't see it being standard because, like I said, developers are going to push for all that extra shit. And, the way I see it, I would actually prefer that. I would take 720p 60 frames per second over 1080p with 30 frames per second any day. I would take that over any day. I want my smoothness. I care about graphics. That's why I bought a game PC. I do care about graphics. Of course, I'm not a graphics whore. You guys know I'm far from that, and graphics aren't everything. You guys already know that. But, I do care about graphics, but I'd rather have my smoothness. You see what I'm saying? I'd rather have my 60 frames per second than, 30 frames per second, because a lot of console fanboys who are just totally against the PC, they'll always say, oh, frames per second doesn't matter. There's no difference between 30 and 60 frames. Yes, the hell that there is. And of course, this has come from somebody who owns the consoles and a game PC. Yes, there is. There is a huge difference. Well, I would play like some games on my laptop, because my laptop is actually capable of playing like some Source Engine games. And of course, it runs them in 30 frames per second. But when I play it on my desktop back here, that shit feels like completely different. And I'm not bullshitting. You see what I'm saying? But and also, when, like I said, when a game is running in 720p, it has better anti-aliasing. That's typically, just how it works. So let me know what you guys think down below. Or do you think that developers will somehow, manage to actually have 1080p native 60 frames per second? Maybe like, down the line 4 years in the next generation, who knows? But I'm definitely not expecting that like within the first, 3 years and next generation. Like, hell no. But let me know what you know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you later.